Good morning, fourth graders. Maybe afternoon, I'm not sure. Today we're going to do, for reading and writing for ELA today, we're going to be talking about our author's message, kind of that author's purpose. Why did they write this? What do they want us to know? Here's our focus for today's lesson. Readers understand that nonfiction writers use evidence to support their message. Students will learn how to determine why a writer wrote the text. So as a reader, one of your jobs is to figure out the thing that you're reading. Why did that author write it? What did they want you to know? What was important about it that they thought, this is so important that I need to tell people about it. So this is our nonfiction grade 4 mini lesson 8 titled, What's the Author's Message? So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So as readers of nonfiction texts, it's super important that we understand the purpose, the why the author chose to write about a particular text, write something about a particular text. We need to figure out what the author wants us to learn and what the author wants us to remember. So I'm going to read an article to you today from a Zoo Books magazine about butterflies. So this is what the article looks like. Hopefully it's going to show up on your screen also. I'm going to show you all of it first. Notice we have lots of nonfiction features here. So our title itself, just the way it's set up, is a feature in and of itself. We have what grabs us, what draws us in, the future of tropical butterflies. We've got a nice map diagram in the middle with the captions, labels, a paragraph here. Notice what I think that's really interesting is this is not a subtitle. It's simply the beginning of the sentence is bolded on both of these, is in bold print. The next page, and last page, gives us a picture of the rainforest, caption. Again, we don't have subtitles. We have the author chose to bold a couple of the words right at the beginning. But it gives you a clue as to what this paragraph's about, even looking at those bold words at the beginning of the paragraph. Again here, bold words at the beginning of the paragraph, picture, caption. So you can see how the author set this up to help you understand the text. And then when we're talking about those text features, be sure you're paying attention to them as you read a text because the author sets it up for a specific reason. All right, so I'm going to start. Hopefully it shows up on your screen too, and you can follow along on yours as I read it to you. Good readers, even when you're being read to, remember your eyes are on text. So if you come across a word you don't know, but I read it to you, your eyes are on that word while you're hearing it. And so the next time you come across that word, you're more likely to know it, remember it, pronounce it correctly, be familiar with it. So make sure that you're not stealing any learning from yourself and that you're putting your eyes on the words as I'm reading them. Butterflies by Beth Wagner Brust from Zoo Books Butterflies. It was a magazine called Zoo Books, and they took the article from it. The future of tropical butterflies and other tropical species is linked to the future of the rainforest. While butterfly farms in many parts of the world help to conserve butterflies, conserve is save butterflies, they don't do much to save rainforest habitat. But in Costa Rica, a program called Protecto de Mariposas, or Butterfly Project, does help the rainforest. So that was just our very, very first paragraph, kind of our introduction to this whole thing. And the author's really clear in telling us that the future of the tropical butterflies is also the future of the tropical rainforest. So there's a really big connection there between those two things. Rainforests, butterflies, protecting them both. All right, so now we're looking at, on yours, you can look at your map. It says Central America. It shows us, look at the countries. It shows us the name and the title of each country. It says Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, and then there's this little tiny part with a white dot in the center. And that is Barra del Colorado. We have a Colorado here in the United States too. Text box right next to it in that caption, it says, Costa Rica is a small country in Central America. The black area at the upper right of Costa Rica on the map shows the location of the rainforest that surrounds Barra del Colorado. So that dark area, that's a rainforest, and there's kind of like a city in the middle of that. So that's the part of the world we're talking about. Now, if you're looking at your Central America map, know that if you're looking at a whole map of the United States, this is below the United States is where you're going to see this. All right, second paragraph all the way on the bottom. It says, for many years, the villagers of Barra del Colorado, Costa Rica, lived by fishing. So that was their job, that was their trade, that's how they got their food. They lived by fishing. Now there are few fish for them to catch. Commercial fishermen from a neighboring country overfished the area by using large nets called gill nets that trap great numbers of fish at one time. So they overfished. They took all the fish out of the water. With no fish, the people of Barra del Colorado became very poor. So they have nothing to live off of. They have nothing to sell. They have nothing to harvest. Probably don't have a lot to eat because it was overfished. Today, they are learning to use some resources of the rainforest in a way that won't deplete them. This is called sustainable resource use. It allows people to benefit from nature and encourages them to be its caretakers. Notice how sustainable resource, it's in italics, so it's slightly slanted. It tells us, ooh, there's something extra special about this word. So I noticed that the author talks about those sustainable resources and their importance. Anything sustainable is a resource we're not going to run out of when we take care of it correctly. Sustainable resources can be overused and they can disappear. But as long as we, as humans, are taking good care of sustainable resources, they don't go away. We can continue to use them and live off them and thrive off of them. So the people in the rainforest, because this wasn't done, the fishing wasn't done correctly, the rainforests are now poor, and the people who live there, they're poor. They don't have enough food. They have to find other resources that they didn't normally use because their fishing resources were depleted. So we're going to look at another section of it. The rainforest of Barra del Colorado was logged. So bold tells us what we're reading, but it's not really a subtitle. So the rainforest of Barra del Colorado was logged 50 to 75 years ago. Its beautiful hardwood was made into furniture and wall paneling for people in other parts of the world. After a rainforest has been cut down, the soil erodes and loses its nutrients. Remember, those nutrients are what feed the plants, make vegetables good, make fruits good, make everything healthy. It takes many years for the forest to grow back. Now there is strong regrowth in this rainforest. Villagers are being taught how to make a living from the forest without hurting it. They will farm butterflies to earn money and preserve the forest that is the source of the butterflies. Look at the picture there, and it's got the caption, so shows kind of those trees drooping over. More than half of the world's plant and animal species live in rainforests like this one. So if more than half of every living thing other than humans lives in a rainforest, and we cut down all the rainforests, is that going to be a problem? I'm really hoping you responded yes there. That's a huge problem. We need rainforests to keep our entire planet sustainable. So, based on what I already know about rainforests, based on what I've already read in the article about rainforests, I can draw the conclusion or infer that this author really cares about rainforests, that she really wants the rainforest to be taken care of, that she wants you to understand what sustainable means, and that she wants you to take action because of it. Take care of the things around you, things like that. So she believes that it's important to take care of those natural resources. So her purpose in writing this is to inform us and to help persuade us to be responsible with our resources also, so we don't end up like the villagers there who ran out of fish. So when you're reading, here are some things that I want you to think about as you're trying to figure out what is the purpose of this article. Why did the author write this? So why did the author write this? What is important to remember about the text? Like when you walk away from this, if someone says, Mom says, hey, what did you read about? Oh, I read about these butterflies that they're growing and people are using them to make money because they used to fish and all the fish are gone because they didn't take really good care of their resources and they're blah, 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 cutting in the rainforest. There's lots of big ideas here. So what was important to remember? Is the author trying to convince me to do something? Is this author trying to convince you to take better care of the earth? To be sustainable with resources? I definitely think so. Is the author trying to teach me, tell me, or inform me about something? She was teaching us something about rainforests. I think the most important thing that I learned from this was that half of all plants and animals, half in the entire world, come from rainforests. That's super significant. That's a lot of plants and animals that come from only rainforests. And then why did the author write this? When she wrote this, what was she wanting us to know? What was her purpose? That's the big question down here. Why did the author write this? So today we talked about how to make inferences about what the author's wanting you to know, about their message, about their purpose. And as readers, it's important for us to understand that author's purpose for writing the text, since understanding that writer's purpose helps us figure out what the content is, why it's important, what they want us to know, learn from it, and absorb it. Your job today is to, as you read your nonfiction text today, remember you're getting it off ReadWorks, something you have at home. Epic is your other option. If you have it somewhere else, go for it. It just needs to be nonfiction. It needs to be teaching you something and absolutely true, filled with facts, learning. This is what you're thinking about as you are reading. This is your job today. Why did the author write this? What is their purpose? Ask yourself what's important to remember when mom or dad ask you, what did you read today in your 15 minutes of reading? What was important to remember? What was the author trying to convince you of during it? And what was the author trying to teach you, tell you, or inform you about during this? And why did the author write this? So this is, bottom line is their purpose right here. Why did the author write this? What's their purpose here? So as you are reading, be sure that you are thinking about these questions, these things, because we're talking about author, their message, what they want us to know. And the message is, why did they write this? What's important? What are they teaching us or informing us about? So that is your job as you are reading today. So make sure that you are staying focused on that as you read and do a great job reading. Thanks.